Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. This morning we're going to talk about the child care expenses. Have y'all know how much it costs for people to take their children to daycare nowadays? Yes, child care costs now exceeds rent in many cities across America. Listen at this. With some studies finding this to be true for families with two children in 85 of the 100 largest U.S. metros. Factors contributing to this include high child care prices, low wages for providers, inadequate federal funding, and rising operational costs. As a result, some parents are forced to leave their workplace to care for their children. Now, see, this is another big problem. If you got to go to work and you can't afford to pay the daycare to go to work, and the funding is not in position to help you be able to stay on that job or to be able to have someone to keep your kids while you're on that job, or you don't have like some jobs they have bring your children to work and things of that nature. If there's nothing in place to be able to care for these children, then that means the parents are going to have to stay home and look after their children, which is going to cause them to fall into another financial crisis, may even cause them to lose their home and be homeless, may even cause them to be able to not to be able to provide for their children at all. I mean, this is a situation where a lot of people are waking up facing this right now, this morning, not knowing where they're going to take their children, finding that the daycares are being closed because of the fact that they can't afford the overhead to keep these places open. Parents can't afford to pay out of pocket $300, $400, $500, $600, $1,000 a month, $500, $600 a week. This is a lot of money coming out of the budget to run a house and then have to pay for these children to go into daycare. I mean, when we think about it, it says on here, key data and statistics, national comparison. Child care for two children costs more than the average rent in every state and exceeds the average mortgage payment in 45 states. That is a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. Metro area breakdown. In 85 of the 100 largest U.S. cities, the cost of it costs a full-time center-based care for two children is greater than the cost of renting a two-bedroom apartment. It's saying it costs more. It costs more for the children to go to daycare than it does to rent a two-bedroom apartment for two children. That's got to be every bit of anywhere from $1,400 to $2,000 a month. Extreme example, in cities like Omaha, Milwaukee, and Buffalo, the cost of care for an infant and a 4-year-old is more than double the average rent. Individual child care costs for some cities, the cost of infant care alone exceeds average rent. How is parents supposed to go to work, y'all? How are they supposed to go to work when they go to work and all their check goes to paying child care? They would not have enough money to feed themselves. They won't have enough to keep a roof over their head. They just will not have enough to be able to survive in the economy the way it is today. Child care expenses have risen and they're on the rise and they're steady going up. Individual child care costs for some cities, the cost of infant care alone exceeds the average rent. The average rent now is very hard on a mother to leave her infant from the beginning to go take it to a child care place. So you don't want to just take the baby anywhere. You don't want to just drop the baby off at some place where you know or you think it's not going to be safe. So they look for places that are safe, but the safer places cost a lot more money. The places that are a lot cleaner, or places that are a lot have a lot more staff, they cost a lot more money. This is contributing to a lot of things that's happening in the world today, of reasons why people are losing their homes, why people cannot go to work, why people just have two parents in the house. One have to stay home and watch the child while one go to work, which is taking extra income out of the house. But what sense does it make if they go make the extra income and then they got to pay it out in child care and they still in the same situation? Not only now are they losing money from paying their bills. Not only are they losing money from paying their bills, but also at that point they are missing out time with their child because there's nobody there to keep the child at that point. I mean, it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul no matter what. The high operational cost that it takes to run these centers. Child care centers have high expenses due to need for a low staff to child ratio to secure proper care and safety. There's not enough people that are coming into work to be able to care for as many kids that are coming in. Low provider wages. Child care providers often have low wages, which contribute to high overturn rate and can impact the quality of care. This is where we at, y'all. This is where we at, to a place where families are actually going through it. They don't know exactly what to do, which way to turn. You wake up in the morning and you try to figure it out, and people are getting stressed out. They look at their children, they love their children, and they want to make sure that they're safe. And you cannot go to work not knowing whether or not your child is going to be taken care of or not, or who's watching your child first and foremost. So the high cost of this childcare is a significant financial burden on a lot of families today, and we're really seeing more families that are losing a lot of things. A lot of families are breaking up. I mean, when I say breaking up, I mean to the point where husband and wives are fighting each other. Husband and wives are not standing together in the midst of this, which leave the children more vulnerable, because now instead of two parents, they got one parent. And then when that one parent can't find child care, and there's not enough funding out there for them to be able to get child care. I mean, with everything that's going on in the world today, I mean, how do you expect for parents to be able to go to work and work all day and have a peace of mind when they think that their children are not safe or not in a safe place, or they got to worry about whether or not they're going to be able to go to work every day and be able to explain to their boss why they can't come in or why they're always late because they don't have childcare. And a lot of you might say, well, why don't they just get family to watch the children? Well, that's another problem, because see, sometimes family ain't safe either. Let's just throw that out there. Family cannot be safe sometimes to watch your children either, nor they may not be available to watch your children. And some people don't like kids. That's just called a thing. Some people don't like kids. Some people don't want to be bothered with your kids. Some people don't like to be trapped and don't like to be trapped in the house. It takes a special person. It takes a special person with a lot of patience and a lot of time on their hands to be able to put in that work to take care of somebody else's child. I mean, you can get grandmamas and mamas, and sometimes they'll do it and they'll love to do it, but then there's times that they want to go their own way as well, and they want to do their own thing, and they want to be able to go out and shop and hold on, and they might not want to just sit in the house all day long and take care of somebody else's child. I mean, you got to really know exactly who you live in your children with in this day and time, because there's so much out there that could go wrong if you leave your child in the hands of the wrong person. And to be able to go to work and come home and take care of your children, and to be able to put your money to where it's supposed to be in good use, to making sure you're providing for the house. It's a lot all by itself. It's a lot of stress, and it's a lot on one person to be able to do, especially with the high cost of rent today. Now you find that a lot of people and their children are being displaced because of the fact that they don't have child care. They can't afford to pay nobody to take care of their children, because even family members, a lot of times, they won't do it for free. Friends don't want to watch your children for free. Who wants to watch somebody else's kids for free? They won't know that. They just don't want to do it for free. You got to have some real special people in your life to see you go through, because sometimes there are people out there that will help you when they see that you're trying to help yourself. But 9 times out of 10, childcare expenses have gone crazy. Daycares are overcrowded, underpaid, understaffed, and so therefore the quality of care may not be there. And you may walk in there. I remember when I used to walk um into the daycare centers just to check on my child, and I would make sure that she was safe. A lot of times I didn't even take mine to child care. I took them to family members and let the family watch them. But if I did ever had to take my children to a daycare center of any kind whatsoever, I was never pleased with it. They didn't stay long. They may stay for a minute, but I did not like leaving my children with strangers. I don't like, even if they grown, even as they big, I would not advise you to leave your children with strangers. I mean, when I say if they're big, not grown, but if they're big, like 8 years old, 9 years old. A lot of people say, well, if they're infants, they don't want to leave them with strangers, but you shouldn't leave them with strangers no matter how old they are. There should always be some eyes on them. And when you do take them to these daycare centers, make sure that you check these centers out. Make sure that you have talked to somebody about these places. Make sure you get a rating on these places. Make sure that you make sure that who's watching your children. Get a chance to talk to these people and pop in when they don't expect you to pop in. If they're a good center, they got an open door policy where you should be able to come and see your child during the day. Make sure the child's okay. A lot of people say that that's not good because it causes the child to depending on mom showing up or dad showing up, but somebody needs to show up at some point to make sure that your child is okay. I really believe that. I really believe that if you can't check in on your child should not be there. That's exactly how I feel about it. I mean, I was very overprotective of my children, and in this day and time, you really got to be. But the cost, what it cost a lot back then. I remember when I used to do home daycare. I ran a home daycare out of my home when I was younger, and I was married at that point, and I basically only took the children that were under social services, was paying for these children to come into daycare into my home. And that was because of the fact that that was an easy pay, because you were going to get paid, and those girls really had to go to work, because it was a stimulation even back then, that in order for you to get your stamps or get your welfare check, you had to go to work. So they had to have some place to put them children, and home daycares were really booming during that time. There was so many home daycares. But again, even with the home daycares, don't get so comfortable that you don't pay attention to what's going on in that home, or who's in that home, or make sure you check on the people, make sure you're leaving your child in a safe place in that home. So with me doing daycare, it was more or less, who's interacting with your child on a daily basis, and it was always mainly just me, because of the fact that my husband worked, but he was gone most of the time because he worked in the oil field business, so he was out at the oil field a lot. So I was always home mostly by myself to take care of the children for days in and days out, and it was the most rewarding job. Again, I love working with the children, so it was rewarding for me to be able to do so, but the cost was still expensive. Those girls, their costs were paid by social services, so they were able to go to work every single day, and they wanted to go to work. And I would find that they had a lot more joy, they were a lot happier when they went to work, and they knew that their child was left in a safe place, and they knew that they gave them like 10 hours. They gave them 10-hour work day. They gave them a 10-hour work day. If they worked 8 hours and it took them 10 hours to pick up the baby or whatever, they knew they had 10 hours a day to get that child from daycare. So a lot of them would stretch it out until the last minute too. You would think that they was driving home from Canada, and they live right around the corner, but they had to make sure that they got every minute, especially when they knew that the child was safe and the child was in a good place. They would leave that child 6 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever time that the state allowed for them to have for childcare expenses. Trust and believe they took every minute. So I believe that with the child care expenses that we're seeing right now, and as high as child care is right now, I mean, I really can see that this is going to cause a big problem for a lot of people that are working, trying to make it. It's another stepping stone, another block that's in the way, and you got to figure out how to step across that stone, or how to get across it some kind of way. But it is going to be another roadblock in the middle of the road when you try to prosper, when you try to work through this economy and try to see which way to go. Childcare is going to be another roadblock, because there's been a lot of roadblocks that have been set up for nobody to be able to make it in this economy. But you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to get yourself a team that can help you come talk to some people that might can help you along the way. Maybe you can pay the elderly lady down the street that ain't got nothing to do. She might keep your child for a couple of coins during the day. That would help her out as well. I mean, today we got to work together. There's no more free ride. There's no more free nothing. You got to be ready, willing, and able to give somebody a little something to help you down the road in this season, because so many people need help in so many areas of their life, and there's so much going on that childcare now has taken the stage to the place where people are screaming that they don't have nobody to watch their kids while they go to work, but yet they still have to go to work. No matter what the system sets up, you still gonna have to go and work for it some kind of way. Them children gonna have to be put someplace. You're gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to figure it out who's around you. I mean, it's easy for people to say if they don't have no children, they never had to navigate through work and children and school and be able to handle that. I can say shout out to the super moms out there that have done it, super dads out there that have been there and done that, super dads and moms that are doing it right now, that are juggling a full-time job, plus taking care of their child care, plus going home and feed these kids, and we're helping them with their homework, and still got to go through, even if they're a baby, you still got to spend time with their child. So that's my spill on that. Y'all do the best y'all can. Come up with any plan that you can get somebody to help you in the midst if you need help financially. If and so your agencies are not providing you the financial care that you need to be able to pay for child care, then my suggestion is for you to try to find somebody who you can trust, that can watch these kids a little cheaper during the day, to help you along the way. But don't think just because you know people and because people are your family that you should be trying to get them to work for free when you would be willing to pay this organization a fee, but the fee is too high, but you don't want to pay them nothing. That's not right. It's not fair. And therefore, this is why a lot of you may not have child care, is because you got to start thinking a different way, even with the people that's close to you. Take care of those that take care of you. So with that being said, I love y'all. Y'all be blessed. Me and my little guy is getting ready to get on out here today. He has an appointment this morning. He has to go get a shot this morning. They give him a depicted shot in his leg, so we got to go get that depicted shot in his leg this morning. And y'all keep us in your prayers as we travel. But I wanted to say good morning, let y'all know I love you. Get something out here to put on your mind for the day, and let's try to figure out some solutions that we can put on the line to help those that are looking for childcare. How did you take care of your children while you were working? Did you have someone in the family watch your children while you were working? Did you take them to a child care center? How did you like the child care center? Were you able to check on the child care center and check on your child? Did you do your research before you drop that child off? There's a lot of questions that need to be asked. Was funding available for you when you were looking for child care? I mean, you know, a lot of times we think that people know, but sometimes people just don't know. Sometimes we just got to ask the questions. Sometimes we got to offer some advice. So that's what we do over here. We're uplift, motivate, and inspire. And we like to talk about any and every conversation that is brought to the table. If you have a conversation that you would like for me to speak on, please drop it in the comments. And if and so you have not subscribed to the channel, we have so many people that are watching that are not subscribing. We're trying to build a safe community over here where we can come and conversate about anything and everything respectfully and respecting other people's opinions. And if and so you have not turned your notification bells on, please turn your notification bells on at this time so that you may be notified when I drop my next video. Y'all be blessed, and please send up a prayer for me as I travel. Be blessed.